I welcome all of you to this online lesson. I am teacher Yando Amos. My contact is right down there, and I hope all of you are able to see me. I want to special wave to you all. We are going to have this free online learning class sponsored by Akadichon Learning Network. Our lessons here are for classes P1 up to Senior 6. If you have a brother or a sister or another sibling who's just right there at home, probably wish to attend this, can be part of you be now a living testimony. Tell them how good we can be able to proceed and how good the lessons are here. I am the learning facilitator for physics. I am the learning facilitator of physics. I'll be taking you. We are continuing from where we actually stopped last time. Okay? Who can remind us of what we did look at last time? What do we look at last time? We introduced the physics, isn't it? We looked at a number of reasons why physics is studied, branches of physics, and we only realized that where we're studying, where we're staying, physics is always there. This slide has continued to talk more about some of the services offered by the Akad Digital Network, one of which is the online classes like these ones you're having here. This go for 500,000 every year. In fact, for a full year, 500,000 for a full year. But this 500,000 includes having interaction with your teacher by holding this kind of engagement. You will access courses or subjects which are on the website of IACA. You have to attempt to grade, you have to attempt to assignments, quizzes, and these are marked and graded, and this is done for the whole year, and it is only for 500,000. We have a couple of services that we still offer, including downloads. You can download each subject at 10,000. This doesn't matter whether it is primary or secondary. Each subject you can download it at 10,000. But if you want to download all the subjects for one class in the primary, it is 30,000. You see, there's some promotion there. And then if you want only subjects for a particular class in secondary, you'll be required to pay 50,000. And now, these services on Yaka can be made better when you actually also bring in Educare, where we have lots of learning notes. I beg that Grace puts the mic off or mute her mic. Grace, could you mute your mic? We have services like we're saying there, which depend on your membership levels. 2 days free access, and then if you want to access these services for 1 month, you have to pay like 20,000. If you want to access these services for a quarter is part of a year is actually 3 months. If you want to access these services for 3 months, you'll be paying 50,000. You see, 10,000 is being dropped for you if you access it on a quarterly basis. Meanwhile, if you're accessing it on the half year basis, you'll be paying 70. Actually, if you wanted monthly, you'll be paid 120, but this is dropped to 70 only And lastly, you can subscribe and have it for 1 full year where you'll only pay 100,000. So for more of these services, you can contact the numbers which are there. These numbers will continue to be on the slides we share, on the notes we share. So you can actually get to that number and find out. This goes hand in hand with the services provided by Yaka Digital Network. We are moving right to look at now the physics laboratory. Do you all have laboratories in your school?
Yes.
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 Did you get chance to move in there?
Yes.
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 Now you
Physics
very good.
lessons.
Yes.
Someone saying physics lessons, you can now see. So which means there is something special about that room or house you're saying there. If in the physics laboratory there, we do most of the works in science. Not only physics, but the laboratory itself in the school there. Most of the practical works in science, and these practical works include the
Chemistry.
The practical works also include those in chemistry, where we have experiments.
Biology.
Someone's mentioned. Good. And these practical works include experiments. They include the tests. They include observations or even investigations. And all these, we actually do them in that special place, and it is called the laboratory.
Laboratory.
Yes. So I said most of the practical work. I want to come here. Do you know what experiment is? Do you all know what experiment is? I'm not asking someone yet to define, but I only want you to respond yes or no.
Yes.
By show up of hands, how many know what experiment is?
Yeah, I know.
Shad, Shanyo, Laura, this one is saying they know. What about tests? The same, including Edwin. This time, Hope, Sanyu, and all coming. We have observations. No, sometimes observation or investigation. If what investigation, when we talk about carrying out investigations, I'm seeing a couple of hands up. Grace, Timothy, Side, Edwin, and Hope. They all saying they know this. So we do this in what we call now the laboratory. We have that activity. Who's first on the list here? Grace. Grace, I want you to read what you're seeing on that slide for the class.
What do you understand by the following terms? A, laboratory. B, apparatus. C, experiment.
Thank you. What do we understand by the following terms? We're going to discuss all this. Now, as I said, our new curriculum emphasizes us to communicate, emphasizes us to think, emphasizes us to solve problems. And this thinking is not the normal thinking, it is a critical thinking where you have to think around all over the environment even. So now, the task we have now is all of us are going to, I think in 30 seconds, think about this. What do we understand by the following terms? So I'll start with the laboratory. What is a laboratory? Because all of you said you have a laboratory, actually most of you said you have a laboratory, you have gone to them in your various schools. Now we're going to define what laboratory is. Laura, your hand is up. What is a laboratory?
A laboratory is a room where scientific experiments are carried out.
Room where scientific experiments are carried out. Good. Maria.
A laboratory is a special room where science apparatus are kept and experiments are carried out.
Where science apparatus are kept and experiments are carried out. Science apparatus are kept and experiments are carried out. Good. Timothy.
Well,
Experiments are scientific studies.
We're yet on laboratory.
Laboratory is usually a room where scientific studies are carried out.
Room where scientific experiments are carried out. Let's move to, the next person. Elliot is there. Elliot, could you have your contribution? Chip in your contribution.
a laboratory is a building or part of a building specifically designed for scientific work.
Very good. Part of a building or a building specifically designed for
scientific work.
Good. What is this, Kyle? Kyle, could you have also chip in your contribution?
Pardon?
We are trying to define or what to understand by laboratory. What is your say?
A laboratory is a room or building equipped for scientific experiments, research, or teaching the manufacture of drugs or chemicals.
Good. From all those who have actually been able to say something, see, we are all getting that all those answers are very correct. Laboratory, I was saying it is either a room or part of a room where we carry experiments or where we have scientific investigations, or where we keep apparatus. You can see. Now, this will take us to the apparatus itself. What is apparatus? Someone is there to start, Elliot? Elliot, your hand is up.
An apparatus is any equipment or tool needed for a particular activity or purpose we use to carry out an experiment.
Apparatus is a tool or something like that for an experiment to be done. Well,
Yes.
Brilliant. Son, your voice is breaking. We have another person who has just joined us newly, Shubi. What is apparatus?
Apparatus is equipment or hard tools used to perform scientific experiments.
Good. Nimrod. Nimrod. I saw your hand up. So as you have said, you see, apparatus, just now set of tools used what? Tools or equipment used for carrying out investigations or tests or experiment. Now, what is now experiment itself? We also move in there. What is experiment? At the end of this, we'll have known the three terms: laboratory, apparatus, and experiment. Then we have known what the physics laboratory is all about. What is experiment? Because that is basically what constitutes physics laboratory. Kyle, Sad.
Yes.
What is an experiment?
An experiment.
As you continue to think, Elliot, could you chip in?
Yes, I can say an experiment is a scientific step-by-step process undertaken to make a discovery about a known fact.
Very good. Step-by-step process. I'm more interested in that one. Step-by-step process. Timothy.
Sorry, my microphone was not working.
Okay. Timothy, I can get you. Your mic is okay. Now, let us move to see what these terms.
Okay, an experiment, I think.
Come. You give us what your count. An experiment is I want to wind up with Clear. Clear, your hand is up. Just say anything you know about the experiment or what it is or what you understand by it.
An experiment is a practical lesson taken in a laboratory.
Practical lesson taken in a laboratory. Good. Just a reminder, I want to say that for all of you who are here participating in this lesson, know that by the end of this lesson, if you have not participated, which means in your school you should have not scored, because this basically talks about trying to contribute. The new curriculum is all about contributing. When you don't contribute, you're missing.
Sorry, my internet has gone off. So apparatus are scientific items that help someone to carry out an experiment.
Good. Now, let us see what this is. I think we can just move on now.
Yes.
We can see. We're saying a laboratory is what? A building. Okay.
A laboratory is a building. A laboratory is a building. A laboratory is a building, part of a building or any other space or any other place specifically designed for scientific work.
Very good. See, all of your answers were around here. So that's why I said all of you are correct. When you take back this to our schoolroom station, when you go to the school there, either the laboratory is there a building, isn't it? It is the whole building. The whole building is just given as a laboratory. Or it is a part of the building, a room of the building is just given, or some rooms of the building are given as what? Laboratory. Or it can be some other place. It is designed specifically for scientific work. Many of you are saying it is designed for carrying out experiment. That is scientific work. Many of you are saying it is designed for what? Keeping apparatus. That is scientific thing. Many of you are saying it is for keeping tools, equipments. Many of you are saying it is for carrying out tests, carrying out observations. Those ones are what? Scientific works we're talking about. And these scientific works are done in the laboratory using the apparatus. Okay? These ones are done using the apparatus. So now, this should be going to Carlos Jackson. What is apparatus from our slide there?
Apparatus are instruments used in a laboratory.
Read for us what we have on the slide. Are you seeing what is on the slide on your screen? You read for us.
Apparatus is the equipment or tools needed for a particular scientific activity or purpose.
You see, now for us to do certain activity or purpose or certain work in the laboratory, we need some equipment or we need a certain tool. So these tools or equipments are now regarded as apparatus. So apparatus is an equipment or tool needed for particular scientific activity or purpose. And then we use this, the scientific activity we always do may involve an experiment. it will take us to now define what experiment is. This will go to Mark. Mark, if Mark cannot read for us what we have on experiment, Stewart will have to come in. Stewart, are you there? Those two cannot be able to all. Tony? Edwin, you have put up your hand. I hope it was not by mistake. So you read for us what we understand by experiment.
Experiment is a scientific step-by-step process undertaken to make a discovery, test a proposed law or theory, or even demonstrate a known fact.
You can see this is a very specific definition of what we actually understand by experiment. It is a scientific step-by-step process. And this process is actually taken out to make a discovery. You want to discover. So when you go to the laboratory and use certain apparatus to do some experiment, you want to discover. Some of you have that intention of discovering what will happen after here. That is discovery. What does it take me to? You want to discover. The next is test the proposed law. Maybe you have a law. There's maybe a law that says all the bodies fall downwards. You feel that to do this one very safely, you must go to the laboratory. Try to take a body, and you raise it up. You allow this body to, you investigate which direction it is going to move in. So there you are trying to test a proposed law, because this is what has been proposed. Or a theory. A theory is what someone has proposed just. What if I've said something like this, and that? You go and investigate whether that is true. You do that in what? In laboratory, and use apparatus. Or even you want to demonstrate a known fact. Now, we are saying here the body falls downward. I go to the laboratory, I try to drop a body and allow it. I see whether I allow it to fall down, and then people will see. People will now be able to believe that the body really falls downwards. I have demonstrated a known fact. So they have demonstrated a known fact. So that is all we have to do concerning that we needed to know concerning the laboratory. So now, see, all that we do here in the laboratory, we use apparatus. All that we do in the laboratory, we use now apparatus. So let us try to identify. We now have in the next slide, we have a lot of laboratory equipments. I want us to identify those ones, those equipments that we have in the laboratory. Identify what you can be able to identify. Are we all trying to make observations now? Are we keenly observing? We have so many laboratory equipments. Kyle is putting up his hand. Shubi is also putting up the hand. We shall take that order from Kyle to Shubi. Maria will come in, then Gresh. Let's start. Kyle, what do you see?
I see a dropper, a microscope, a magnet, a Bunsen burner, a test tube stick.
Correct.
A test tube stopper. I see it looks something like lungs.
Let's move to the next person. Apart from those ones he has mentioned.
And a clamp.
Apart from these ones that Kyle has mentioned, Maria, could you come in? Shubi.
I see a microscope, a magnet, a test tube rack, funnel, mortar and pestle, evaporating dish, and tongs, a syringe, a pipette, and a heated stand.
Good. Next, Grace. Grace.
I see a spatula, a syringe.
That's true.
A Bunsen burner.
Correct.
A burette.
We have a burette.
A petri dish.
Petri dish.
A magnet.
A magnet.
Magnet.
Let's have Kilia as we move to the next one. Kilia.
I see an evaporating dish.
True.
Mortar and pestle.
Correct.
Burette.
That is very true.
That's all.
Let's move to the next slide. A repeat of probably what we had in the previous slide or more others that have come in. See, we have so many other things that have even been brought in here. What else are you able to see from here also? From this slide. What else are you able to see from them? Laura. Elliot and then will follow.
I can see a watch glass, a beaker, a Florence flask, test tubes, graduated cylinder, condenser, burette, volumetric pipette, funnel, ceramic square, mortar and pestle, crucible and cover, wire hose, crucible tongs, test tube holder, clamps, and a clay triangle.
Good. She has mentioned a lot of things, and those are some of the measuring instruments or the apparatus that we use and are in the laboratory for carrying out experiments. Now we have a task that we are going to do after here, and it will actually take the remaining of our time for the lesson. And this task is where we're supposed to now, having studied this laboratory equipment. Hope you have all studied this. Then when we come to this, we have also, I hope you have not only admired them, but remember, we have even a thermometer. I don't know if someone was able to make, someone mentioned for us that thermometer, I think should be one of those. Then you have this activity that you're supposed to be doing. These activities is based on your observation The activity is based on the observation that you have had in the previous slides of the apparatus. You're not supposed to. Claire, I still see your hand up. Is there something that you wish to say? Well, I think it was just the hand that you put in there when the question that I previously posed, you're trying to attend to it. We have now this question. It's supposed to mention, if you're not mentioning or list the common physics laboratory apparatus or equipment and their uses. That is an activity. Is it okay?
Yes.
You are going to do this. You're going to do this. You can, on one side, you'll be listing, you can come up with a table. One side is the apparatus or the equipment, name. Then on the other side, it is its use. I want you to do this in the remaining minutes that we are going to have. Then you have your submission, the WhatsApp group. It can be in any form. If you can be able to even do it on a piece of paper and then you take using a camera, the picture, and then you submit to them, well and good. And that is all I will ask you to do. While you are in the laboratory, you are supposed to be keeping calm. While you're in the laboratory, you're supposed to be keeping calm and you actually follow the lab safety rules. So when you're in the laboratory, you're not supposed to be just like any other room. It is what will take us to actually the next topic, which we shall have lesson on the next time we meet. For all your contributions, all your active participation, all that you are able to give us, really thank you for listening. Have a very good day. Hope to get
Thank you.
submissions.
Thank you.
Thank you, teacher.
You're most welcome.
Thank you, teacher.
Thanks, teacher.
That's correct.